square is a parallelogram with congruent sides and angles of 90 degrees. Rectangle and rhombus got together, had a kid, it'd be a square. What's the first word in every one of those definitions? Okay, once you get that down, I'm going to have a chart for you guys that we're going to make a flow chart here that I probably will let you use on the test, or at least for the last maybe. I'll probably say you can use your flow charts in the last for the rest of the hour, with the day we take the test, maybe the last 20 minutes, something like that. Okay. That's what we're learning in these two sections, and we're going to apply those facts. However, there's more true about these than just that. Everybody got that down? Okay. That's your notes for this section on a separate sheet of paper. Now here's what I want you to do. We are going to leave room just so you know, we're going to have, yes, we're going to have something right here. Sure. We're going to have something right here. So you need to leave room for that, because we'll add on to our flow chart. Will be a separate sheet of paper. Right here we'll have trapezoids. And here we will have kites. Now you guys see that you got to have trapezoid and kites over here to the side? Okay, now that you've seen that, I'm going to just zoom in on this. And you should start with quadrilaterals so we can kind of see these and write them a little easier. Okay? But I want you on your paper to leave room, like I did, for the stuff on the right. course, you don't have to draw my scribbles or my colored in boxes here. Now, what do you think the purpose of this flow chart is? Well, the purpose is to realize kind of that everything that something is connected to, if you're moving up, like for instance, how many things are true about a rhombus? Anybody? Nope. 9. Or if you count the quadrilateral, there's what? 10. Now, why is that? If you look at this flow chart here, basically, everything up above it's connected to, it has, I mean, isn't every rectangle, what is the first thing I said? It's in the definition, what was the first thing I said?
Parallel.
It's a parallelogram. So everything that's true for a parallelogram is also true for a rectangle. So there are 8 things, special things there. And like I said, if you conclude that it has 4 sides, there's 9. So what else is true about a rhombus? All 6 things, and then what? The 3 extra things that are also true about a rhombus. I'm not restating all the things that are true about a what? Parallelogram. I'm adding, saying, hey, in a rhombus, these other 3 things also happen. Does that make sense? In a rectangle, these other 2 things also happen. In a rectangle, the diagonals are congruent. It's one of the few figures, 4-sided figures, where they are. We'll learn another one here soon. Rarely are the diagonals congruent in all of the types. Now, in regular figures, that's different. Now, look at a square. How many things are true about a square? 11? Because basically all the things, it's because actually the definition of a square is just repeating number 1 for both a rectangle and a rhombus, isn't it? So there's those 5 things that are true about those, and those other 6, there's 11 things. So by saying this is a square, I say 11 things are true. And you have to be able to apply all 11 of those things. So you can see why having a flow chart like this while you do your homework is important, isn't it? And like I said, I will let you use it for a short bit on your test. I don't know how long, because you are required to know this. What I might do is let you, for those, use it towards the end and say, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes to kind of check maybe some ones you're unsure about. But for you to do well on the test, you basically have to know this. You're going to need to know this and maybe skip 1 or 2 problems that you can't, if you forget, well, I think that's true about a rhombus, but I can't quite remember. I'll give you 10, 15 minutes to use this. Okay? So, get out your workbooks and are these really much different than the problems we have been working on? No, they're just adding a couple more things that are true. So what you're going to have to do is be able to refer to all these and apply them. They'll give you measures for something, and you'll have to apply that. Now, let's look at page 77. Tell you what I'll do on a separate sheet of paper here. Oops, I don't want that to get away from me. I will draw a rectangle and label it like they have in the book to where we can have something a little bigger to refer to. Not a whole lot bigger, but a little bigger. First of all, what do they say about A, B, C, D? It's a rectangle, so what does that tell you? How many things does it tell you? Nope, not 11. 9, if you include that it has 4 sides, but when it's all said and done, that's something that probably won't need, won't really need that awful much. They say this is E, right? Okay, number 1 says AC, A to C, is equal to 2x plus 13. And it says that DB is equal to 4x minus 1. So that and that is what they give us something for. How do those two quantities relate to each other? What are they called? What is AC called? What is DB called? So when I look at my rules, I need to look for the word what? That's probably going to be a key here. Well, I have to include parallelogram. All I know about a parallelogram is what? The diagonals bisect each other. They cut each other in half. Okay. And one diagonal separates it into two congruent triangles. That doesn't really help me a whole lot, does it? So let's go down to see what they say about a rectangle. Diagonals are congruent. Does that help me? Why? No, I said the diagonals are congruent, right? So that means this whole distance is equal to what? This whole distance. Okay? So what's equal to what? Can you guys tell me? Solve. Any questions there? You guys understand that they gave us this right here. D to B was what? That. They gave us this right here, and it was that. And the only thing that allowed us to know that those two have to be equal was the fact that it was told us that in every rectangle, diagonals are what? Congruent. So you see how we're just going to, just like we've been doing, we're going to be given some information. We're going to have to apply those new facts we've learned. Let's go to number 5. Number 5 says the measure of angle DAC is equal to 2x plus 4, and that the measure of angle BAC is equal to 3x plus 1, and they ask us to find the measure of angle BAC. So, on our picture here, DAC, measure of angle DAC, D to A to C. So they're talking about this angle right here is what? 2x plus 4. I'm going to ask you to leave. You two don't be quiet. Understood? The measure of angle BAC, B to A to C, is 3x plus 1. So that's the here to here. Find the measure of angle BAC. And they want us to find that angle. So, okay, am I dealing with angles, diagonals, or sides here? Angles. So, in our 8 rules we have here, we need to look for the word what?
Angles.
Okay. Opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary. Does that help me? I know that opposite angles being congruent, that means this is congruent to this is congruent to this. Does that really help me? Relate these two?
No.
It really doesn't. It's good to know. These two adding to 180 doesn't really help me. So I go down to the things that are true about a rectangle. How many things involve the word angles? Number 1 says all angles are. So I know that this whole angle right here is what? This angle is. This angle is. How does that help me?
Because you can write an equation now with that.
What would my equation be? How does this help me? These represent these two smaller parts, right?
Yeah.
What do these two smaller parts make as a whole? What do they make together? They make 90 degrees. So my equation would be this angle, 2x plus 4, plus this angle, which is what? 3x plus 1 equals what? Just using the facts given to you. Combine your like terms. What's the answer? Any questions there? Let's jump ahead to 79. On 79, they gave us, this is about rhombuses and squares. They say that this is a rhombus. So what does that mean? That means these are congruent. These are 90 degrees, and these get cut in half. You might write, that's basically what happens. Those are the special things that happen in a rhombus. Sides are congruent. The angles get what? Bisected. And the diagonals are perpendicular. They intersect to form a right angle. Those are the things that happen with a rhombus. So this is 90, this is what? What's this angle? What's this one? What's this one? Anybody? Okay, this one? Okay. All the angles are 90. You guys need to wake up. So we're going to use all these facts to find the information they give us. In number 1, they give us that DK is 8. Find KL. If that's 8, what's KL got to be? That's 8. All of them are 8. That's easy enough, isn't it? And that's number 1. Sometimes they'll have numbers. Sometimes they'll ask you to solve equations. They say DML, this whole angle is 82 degrees. That whole angle is 82 degrees. Find DKM. Well, if this is 82 degrees, what's this angle? This whole angle is 82. What did I say? What with these marks, what am I saying happens to this angle? That it gets what? Cut in. So if this whole thing's 82, what's half of it? You guys really don't know that 41 is half? So, what is DKM in number 2? 41. KAL, K to A to L, is 2x minus 8. That's what that angle right there is, they say. Find x. What do we know about KAL? What does it have to be if it's a rhombus? It has to be 90 degrees. So my equation would be 2x minus 8 equals what? Okay, solve that equation. Subtract 82, it looks like x is 41 again. Any questions? This is what we're going to do. You need to get to work.